what's that saying? Love me or hate me, you watched. They did read. You can go rot away in Queens and have one NLCS appearance every 15 years, or you can play for the Braves and have a shot to go to the NLCS every single year, have a shot to go to the World Series every Hello, everybody. This is Justin Gray, sports editor for the Bell Ringer and communication major at Augusta University, with another edition of the Sports Squad from Bell Ringer Phoenix Media. On this edition of the Sports Squad, we will discuss the AU men's and women's basketball, the college football playoff national championship, the NFL playoffs, and a little bit of Braves off-season recap. Our panel includes cross-country runners Avery, Jaynes, and Patrick Motes. Welcome in, everyone.
Good to be back.
Yeah.
10-day pause in between our last episode and this one.
It's kind of been a weird 10 days.
If you're not in the South, it's been snowing, and people act like you're going to go flying off the road every time something besides rain goes on the road. So we've been out of school for a week, like 4 days now, 3 days.
We've been out of school since Monday.
No,
we didn't go to school Monday.
We didn't have school Monday because Martin Luther King Day.
Snowed Tuesday, hung around Wednesday, abundant, just
whatever yesterday was.
Ice day
freezing
yesterday.
temperatures and ice.
I got up this morning and I thought, we really should have just at this point, just finish it out virtual and we'll come back on Monday. Because to me, it felt like a Monday.
Yeah.
It felt like a Monday today, and this is Friday.
On a Friday. But I'm glad we're open so we can do this.
Absolutely.
But anyways, it's been not really a busy week. It's been a
Weird
kind
week.
of busy week.
Weird week.
Sports-wise, I don't even know.
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
We had a lot going on this week.
There's been a lot going on. We'll start off with men's basketball. Last week, did you guys go to either of the games?
No.
I did not.
Bummer. Did you go? Jaxon was there, of course. Trusty. They
put the boo-boo on.
They swept the week. They beat Flagler and Georgia Southwestern. They beat Flagler by 31, a beatdown on Stuff the Stadium night. And then Georgia Southwestern was pajama night.
Dip showed out in pajamas?
He did.
That's great.
Really?
That's great.
Yes, and they avoided, falling to a lesser team. They were able to pull out an 8-point victory. Any win in this league is big. This is very competitive, probably one of the most competitive conferences in the country.
Yep. 10
teams that could beat you on any given night. But, yeah, I mean, it was a great week. They needed that after the Aiken loss. But they were supposed to play 2 days ago against Lander. Then we're supposed to play yesterday against Lander. Now it's been moved to the end of I'll go ahead and announce it because I didn't know this till this morning when I looked. So the week that they were going to play Lander and North Georgia again at home, the home game is moved up to February 17th, a Monday, and that's going to be against Lander, obviously. And then that Wednesday, they will go to Lander at 5:30 and play it. So they'll have a little more time to rest, won't be late that Wednesday night. And then they'll host North Georgia that Saturday. So 3 games in 5 days.
It'd be a lot.
4 games in 7 days with the trip to – that's a lot after a week where you go down to St. Augustine and Americus. I mean, that's –
yeah, they'll have a lot of travel on them. But getting this week, the 2 wins this week, first off, that's massive. I think that Aiken loss was an ugly loss, obviously. And I think that kind of helped shape them, get them back into, focused lanes and just play basketball, play their brand of basketball that they've been coached up to play and they know they can play. It was great to see them blow the doors off of Flagler after last year. Flagler was giving a lot of issues. And then, of course, Georgia Southwestern, almost a 10-point win right there. Man, that's good. That's always good to see. And, I mean, dude, they're rocking and rolling in the conference right now. I mean, they're really 5-1, 11-5 overall and stuff like that. I mean, I think they should go and handle North Georgia, and then they come back next Wednesday and have should be a win versus Georgia College and stuff like that too. So
yeah, I'm glad you said that about North Georgia. I think Augusta's the better team. I think we're the better team in this game. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're preseason number 4 or whatever. Who cares? We were preseason number 10 last year. We went 17-11. So I mean, that preseason doesn't matter.
Nope.
North Georgia, very talented, very physical. That's going to be the hardest part up there Saturday. And if we can't get any calls, which we never do up there, it's going to be a tough task. But my favorite thing about this all happening this week is this is the toughest week of the year when you go to Lander and North Georgia. I know travel-wise, the week before is, whatever.
Yeah.
But as far as competitors, this is the toughest week. So not having to play Lander, getting 7 days off to gear up for a North Georgia team that's very physical and it's going to be a tough, tight battle is huge. Because if they can win this North Georgia game, they're really in the driver's seat to win the conference. And the reason why is because Columbus State's already won at North Georgia. So it's really between Augusta and Columbus State is what it feels like. And so you got to match them. You got to go win up there.
Yeah.
And you need to sweep North Georgia because Columbus State's probably going to sweep North Georgia. If you're not able to win this Saturday, you need to go next Saturday and win at Columbus State. If you can go win next Saturday at Columbus State, you probably win the conference. That's what kind of game that's going to be. It's going to be an electric crowd down there. They beat us there last year in overtime. Going to try to avenge that loss. Tough team. They're ranked 19th in the country, I think, still.
Columbus State?
Yes. They're like 12-2.
Hey, all right.
Tied with AU. And of course, Beaufort's at the top of the conference, tied for first as well. But it's impressive to this point. We'll see what happens at the back end of the schedule when that running around up and down the court starts to get tiresome after 2 games a week for 10 weeks. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm excited.
They bought themselves this past week a little bit of insurance. If they win this weekend, like you said, they've bought themselves a nice insurance plan. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you got to handle the teams like Flagler. You can't lose to a Flagler. Flagler's very, very good, I would say. They would win a lot of games in other conferences. They're a 3-3 team in the conference. You can't lose that game at home, and they didn't.
Right.
And you already got a chance of losing down there because you're traveling 5 hours, which I think is crazy. If anybody hears this, can we please get the team a hotel? That is a massive game.
Yes.
That is a massive
You talking about going down to Flagler?
Yes.
Yes.
5 hours in the day, and you go play at 7:30 that night.
Literally, I remember we walked in there to go do core, and it was not core, we were doing weights, and it was that Tuesday night, and they were already there practicing, running through plays and drills and everything. I was like,
it didn't help, but
they got their butts whooped. But
But here's my thing:
it's they have a clear advantage. They have a full night's rest. They can ease into their day. They don't have to sit around. Dude, laying in a hotel bed is a lot different than sitting on some charter bus for 5 hours.
Of course.
They have.
My thing is this: if we beat Columbus State next week, there needs to be people that are asking for a hotel room because. If you beat Columbus State, you're in the driver's seat. You can't lose these games on the road at Flagler. You can drive down to Georgia Southwestern. That's 3 hours. 5.5 hours. They need a hotel because they need to be able to get ready for those kind of games. And if they can defeat Flagler down there and avoid those landmine losses,
it's just going to come down to how bad does. I mean, this is a fellow student athlete calling into action. It's going to be how bad does this school want this team to win the regular season?
Do you want to go to Columbus for the tournament, or do you want to play in Augusta?
How bad do you want to host it? How bad do you want that title, that recognition,
that money?
Yep. How bad do you want that? Are you willing to spend X amount of dollars to hopefully get X in return?
I mean, it's a basketball team. It's 6 hotel rooms, 7 hotel rooms max.
Yeah.
Like, come on, that's $1,000 in St. Augustine. Not bad. Not bad.
Nope.
So, if anybody's hearing this, obviously.
If the cross-country team, we can go out there and start putting people in hotel rooms, they can too.
Yes, correct.
One thing I want to add is I wonder what Coach Coombs at Georgia Southwestern thinks about that 9 o'clock night game. I wonder how he's going to go through the rest of his career at Southwestern scheduling games against AU.
That's an interesting point by you. Might I say yesterday I got in trouble by the conference.
You did?
I did, which is not a bad thing because they read my article. So
what did they say? what do they have to bash you about?
So I wrote in my Augusta Press article that this was in response to Georgia Southwestern making everybody tip off at 7:30 on a Saturday, which everybody else plays at 3:30 besides us hosting Aiken because they're right across the road.
Right.
I said it was in response to that. They said we didn't officially say that. They thought it was just a pajama night. We just did it for that night.
Oh, it's a bunch of pansies.
Right. So Khadijah said we could leave it in there if Dip said it, which he did on the podcast. He did say that. But instead of fighting that fight, we just took it out of the article. But it is official. That is why we didn't do the pajama night till like 2 weeks ago. They didn't plan to do that.
They were just like, it's a 9 o'clock. How can we spin this off?
I guess we'll find out if they listen to the podcast.
Yeah,
we
so
will.
if you're listening, it is official. You can go back probably 10, 15 episodes and find where Dip said that. So I'm not in the wrong here. I'd like to clarify. But yes, I did get in trouble. At least they're reading my articles. What's that saying? Love me or hate me, you watched. They did read. They did
You're
read.
going to put that in the next
Justin,
one
I
at the very
appreciate
bottom.
you for just taking the honest road and just telling the truth out there, even if they don't like it.
Even if, hey, they don't have to like it. I think it's stupid when you go down to Americas, you have to play at 7:30, especially when they suck. I mean, I say that.
I mean, that's a haul, dude.
That's 3 hours on a Saturday. You can't play at 3:30 and let us get back at a reasonable time. You know what? You deserve,
games. I mean,
you deserve it.
games usually like what? 2 hours roughly with all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah, okay. So then you're out of there.
You're back by 10. You're back by 10 at the latest.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying if you tip off at 7:30, game's over by 9:30, and that's we'll just go ahead and add 15 minutes for BS.
Yeah. And then you're back by 1 o'clock. And I think last year we got home at 2 o'clock. The worst part about it is you go to Flagler on Wednesday, so you don't get home till 4 o'clock. So at least maybe 5 o'clock. I think it was 4:30
Good
last
God.
year. So I mean, that's a rough week to begin with from the conference, giving you those 2 games in the same week. But anyway, let's move on
Greg
and talk
Sankey
about
must
some
be
women's.
heading up to PVC, I guess.
We'll talk about some women's basketball. They've kind of faltered here lately, but I don't think it's too much of a fault of their own. They hit a last-second buzzer beater. Jackson wrote a great story about it. I believe you wrote that, right? Okay. Yeah, a great story about it in the Bell Ringer. Quinasia Abercrombie caught the inbound pass, laid it up at the last second to win the game against Flagler. And then Saturday they lost to Georgia Southwestern. This is one of those games where if it hurts you at the end of the year, it's going to suck because you only dressed out 7 people because of the flu. So you didn't have Autumn Phillips. You didn't have. Did Monet play? I'll check the box score.
Dang,
Sorry,
the
I should have had this
flu.
pulled up.
Yeah, Monet played.
Monet played. Yeah, so they had 7 players play. That's just one of those that kind of just really, really sucks. So maybe they can get back on track tomorrow. They have the toughest game of the year tomorrow. They play at 1:30 against North Georgia before the men. North Georgia is like 13-1, 14-1,
15-1.
15-1,
5-1
ranked in the top
conference.
10. Ranked in the top 10.
Gum.
So if the ladies can get back on track tomorrow, that would be huge. It wouldn't even be back on track. That's a top 10 win. That's a massive
They
win.
got that and Columbus State 2 games after that. So
Yep.
that's 2 big games for them.
I'll add something on that Georgia Southwestern women's game.
Uh-huh.
Amari Jackson had 24 points. I think before this game, she was averaging like 3 points a game. And she played all 40 minutes, and before this, she was averaging like 8 minutes a game.
All right, coach. Way to get the right players and stuff, and wait for the players to step
phenomenal
up. That's
from her
awesome.
to step up in a game like that. They controlled the first half. They had a chance. Dip said something about that the other day, how it was crazy. The Southwestern coach didn't even they were like, who is this girl scoring all these points on us? So
It's just depth off the bench, man. That's
It
good to
is.
have. That's
and
That's an ace
going
in the hole.
forward, knowing she can do that is going to give you some room to work with the starters getting some extra minutes off the floor and stuff like that. So yeah, they get North Georgia, then they get a little tune-up game for Georgia College, and then it's back on the road to Columbus State, a big one next Saturday. We'll go over the ranking, the conference standings for both sides. The men's side, Columbus State, USC Beaufort, Augusta tied for first. We talked about it. Aiken, North Georgia, Lander tied for second, 4-2. Flagler in third at 3-3. Well, I guess it would be like seventh at 3-3. And then we have a 3-way tie for last place at 0-6 in the conference. Clayton State, Georgia Southwestern, and Georgia College. And then on the women's side, we have North Georgia tied in first place with Columbus State, 5-1 apiece. And then Augusta Southwestern are both tied at 4-2. Georgia State, Lander, Flagler tied at 3-3. Clayton State 2-4. Beaufort 1-5, and then Aiken 0-6. Aiken's not going to win a conference game all year. That was a pretty pitiful showing when the Jags went up to Aiken and played them. So that's about all we got from the women's side of things. I would like to mention next week we'll try to do sort of a preview episode if we can get Jabin in here, because baseball starts next Friday.
All right.
January 31st. The Jags will take the field.
Like a stadium.
Well,
yeah,
Their
they're
new
pretty
stands. Their new stands.
They're on the road. Oh,
Are they on the road
Where
for the
they
first
at?
one?
They go to
Okay.
St. Leo University down in Tampa, Florida.
Isn't that one they always do? Now that I think
Oh,
about
boy,
it?
they're gonna go
always-
see some snow.
Well, last
Have they
year they
always
went
go
down to
there?
Florida Tech.
Okay,
yeah.
They host Florida Tech this year for a 4-gamer. But anyway, they'll be back home February 4th. We'll talk about this more next week. February 4th, they'll be back home for their first game in the stadium, Jaguar Stadium. And then softball, I think they start next Saturday, February 1st. They play a doubleheader against Catawba. No, North Greenville. They go to North Greenville and they come home for Catawba. So that's your wrap up on AU sports. You're listening to the Sports Squad from Bellringer Phoenix Media. So we couldn't keep without talking about it anymore. The college football national champions, Ohio State Buckeyes, 34-23 over Notre Dame. Jackson. Oh my God!
Oh, here we go with this.
See, you know, I was on your side till you had to say the. Congratulations, 10 years. The first ever playoff, the 14 playoff. Ohio State won as well over Oregon. What was that, 52-20 or 42-20?
Yeah, it beat the brakes off of them, dude.
It was something big like that.
This one was also a blowout for a while. Notre Dame tried to make a comeback in the end. Jackson, what was your nerves like at the end of that one?
Going into the game, I was quite stress-free, which scared me because every game throughout the playoffs, I've been like, oh, we could possibly lose this. But going into the Notre Dame game, I was like, there's no way we lose this. Going through the first 3 quarters, and we got a big lead on them. Everybody started celebrating. I was watching it with my girlfriend. She pulled out her laptop, was looking for championship merch. I was like, this is the worst thing you could possibly do right now. And then Notre Dame got the fumble from Emeka, and then they went down, scored on a 50-yard bomb. And then right there I started sweating a little bit, and then we got the field goal to pretty much seal the game. Yeah,
it was a fun game. Or, well, it really wasn't for a lot of it. The fourth quarter was fun to watch.
Yes.
If you stayed tuned in. Congratulations to Ohio State, the Ohio State University. Jackson, I want to get your thoughts on this, okay? And this is not me bashing you. This is me having a problem with it myself. I saw Ohio State national championship shirts, and as national champions do, they put the schedule on the back. What are your thoughts on buying a shirt that has a loss to your rival on the back? Even if I know it's a national championship shirt. I think that's more important than anything else.
Probably
obviously.
stings a little.
But when it has the loss to Michigan on the back, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, we can start with saying most of the shirts that have the full schedule on them that have the loss to Michigan are coming from Barstool, which is owned by Dave Portnoy, who's the biggest Michigan glazer that I've ever seen in the history of college football. So I try not to buy anything from Barstool just to not support him. My $30 shirt's going to help him out anymore. But, I did buy one from Fanatics that didn't have the Michigan loss on it. And everything I've seen on social media is oh, they didn't beat Michigan. Okay, who cares? We won the Natty. So, you Michigan fans, just keep coping.
Yeah, the national championship is more important than anything else. I think Georgia fans take a national championship and lost to Tech or lost to Florida.
Yeah.
I would take a national championship and we could lose South Carolina for the next 5 years. That's just how I feel about it. National championships reign supreme over everything.
That is kind of the whole point.
Yeah, you're playing the game to be the best team.
Yes.
Even if you don't beat Michigan went 8-5. They can get lucky one week, but does Ohio State win the Natty without that loss? Maybe not.
Probably not. I don't think
Maybe
they
do. So you can kind of look at it as a stepping stone. How much money have you spent on merchandise?
Just $40. I only bought one shirt. I thought about buying more, but once again, this podcast does not pay me enough.
Yeah, where's your stipend at? If you're getting something, where's mine?
We need to at least get together and find a way to get you a hoodie or something.
You just need Like a
I
t-shirt
always
and like
get a hoodie. The last 2 times Clemson won, I always got the hoodie and then a shirt. But
I got
like
the
the
beanie
hoodies.
and then I got one of those little the little flags. That's what I mean because
it's pretty awesome that we can. Well,
oh.
it's pretty awesome that most of us can relate on recency that we've had a national championship, which is pretty cool.
It
pretty
is.
cool. Helps when you like top 10 teams in college football in the last 20 years. But
yeah, pretty much.
But Avery's seen. Have you seen one? You weren't alive for the last Southern National Championship, were you?
No.
When was the
He
last
was a
one?
twinkle in
2000
God's eye.
or 99?
Probably, I don't even think it was in the 2000s. I think it was 90 something.
Well, while Justin Googles, I thought this national championship game was pretty much a snooze fest the last like 12 minutes. I think
2000, okay. My dad's been to all of them.
Oh.
Fun fact.
I
Yeah, my
thought
dad did too.
the drive that killed them was when they the one where they ended up doinking the field goal.
Yeah.
Like they had to if they put up 7 there, I think that Notre Dame actually would have had a really good shot to win. Like
Yeah,
that was the drive that kind of capped that all off. And so
I don't agree with the field goal. We're taking a field goal there. Because
it's just crazy. That man has actually been automatic all playoffs. Like when we were at the
it's
Sugar
not
Bowl,
even about that. It's not even about that. It's just pansy from the 5-yard line. When you're trying to go win a national championship, you got nothing to lose. Why you try to kick a field goal? 3 points isn't doing nothing for you when you're down that big. It's just not.
right.
I would have went for it.
So I got a
But
question
you're
for
also going against the best goal line defense in the country.
And I get that. I've heard all that. But my thing is this. Balls to the wall. You're trying to win the national championship.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let me ask you guys this. So put all your personal teams aside and everything like that. How bad do you guys think they botched up the scheduling this year when it comes to this? Because I feel like, for me personally, as someone who does keep up with college football very avidly, there was not enough hype around this national championship. And I felt like I got caught way more in the NFL and other stuff going on than actually focused on the national championship. So my question to you is, 1, how do they fix this with scheduling? And 2, is 12 teams too much and we need to and just because of the amount of weeks that it went on, and it's just like, are we ever going to get there?
No, see, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was going to be my next point. Here's my thing. I've got some solutions. Not that anyone cares. I have some solutions. I think it does take too long. There was too much going on this Monday in particular. The 20th, you get into the 20s, that's NFL time. Nobody cares. Like, sorry, Jackson. Even if Clemson was in, it wouldn't have felt hyped up.
No.
I got a really unpopular take, and I know this is not going to be, but we can't waste an entire Saturday for Army Navy. I hate to say it.
I think that should be opening season game.
If we're going to have that many weeks, we have a week 0.
Put it at week 0.
Nobody else needs to play week 0.
More fun than watching Army and Navy go at it in week 0 to get ready for college football?
Army Navy, week 0. Let them play at 3:30. But I mean, it's about the climate and like the snow and all that. I get that.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
Army and Navy play week 0 at 3:30, then let Hawaii play at 11 like they do every year. But I don't think we should waste a whole Saturday. I hate to say that because I love that game.
It's a classic. It's a phenomenal game.
I'm a Patriot. I'm all for it. But we cannot waste an entire Saturday. That week needs to be the first round. And then you need to end the season around the 13th, around the 12th, somewhere around there.
And it was just, there was like you said, there was so much going on the 20th. I mean,
inauguration, MLK Day,
national championship. And then, to be real honest, and if you live in the South, you know what you're talking about. Then they were talking about all this weather coming in for us. So there was a lot going on. But I agree. I thought this was way too long drug out. As someone who's a diehard college football fan, I just felt like that I just lost track of it. And I was like, how long is this national? When is this can we just wrap this up? I mean, because the NFL playoffs are in full swing. If you want to watch snow football, you go turn on the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
we could even get rid of the conference championships and let if you want the Army Navy game to be on its own Saturday, which it wasn't even this year. I think there was a bowl game that day, so it wasn't on its own Saturday. But anyway, you could play that on December 7th. Do something with the conference championships. We have enough games to decide. Or we could play 10 games. I like the 12-game schedule. I'm not for that. But, 16 games for a college football team is absurd. These kids are 20 years old. These are not NFL. They're not
even
trained
that, some are 18, younger.
Ryan Williams is 17.
That boy can't even vote. He's out there catching dimes.
But, I think there's going to have to be some tweaking to it. I don't think the 12-team playoff was that bad. I think it wound up being pretty good.
Yeah.
I think they just need to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
Make a few
Kudos to the teams that made it.
Let's get rid of the conference championships, go to 16 teams, and be done with it.
So then, what do you just? How do you just give people buys in? Or do you just
you don't give buys. You have 16. One plays
Yeah.
16, two plays 15.
You don't have to, and then
Yeah.
I say re-rank each team after.
I'll tell you what, though.
You
If
don't
Ohio
keep it all the
State's trophy
same.
case wasn't full enough, it already is very full now. They're gonna have
Rose Bowl, Cotton Bowl, national championship.
yeah,
Pretty sweet. That's number 9.
And
correct?
did
Number
they
9?
win the? No, they did.
7, 8.
They did
You
not
sure?
win.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're counting like claimed ones back in like the 1930s.
All right, so here's the dark news for Ohio State fans now. So if history repeats itself, y'all ain't sniffing this for another 10 years.
Yeah, well, with NIL, history is not going to repeat itself.
No.
And even if it's worth a 10-year drought to win the national championship, I said what I said. I would take 10 years in a heartbeat.
Well, with this new playoff format, yeah.
9 claimed national titles for Ohio State.
9 claimed.
9
okay,
claimed.
9 claimed. How many unclaimed?
7.
Whoa!
Interesting. This is,
We have some of the biggest liars in the United States then.
well, we'll move on to the NFL. Congratulations
I'll add
again,
one more
Jack.
thing. I think the first fix for the playoffs is why are we playing the national championship for college football on a Monday?
Yes.
Saturday has always been college football, so get rid of the NFL games on Saturday or make them the 1 o'clock games and have the night slate for college football.
Amen.
The
I
last
kinda
little
like
tidbit I
that.
add on top of that, there was a report that came out that the college football playoff committee and the NFL is going to work on doing better job for scheduling because they got very botched this year.
Yeah,
so
That's good.
we'll see
That's
what
good.
happens next year and stuff. Just please finish it before the 20th because we've got you can't put it the weekend after divisional. Everybody's talking about what's going on in that. You can't do this. You got to give it its own. If you guys want more viewers, give it its own time of day.
Well, once the NFL speaks, everybody else listens. So there will be change. Like that first weekend when Clemson played Texas, I think the Steelers played the Ravens and the Texans played the Chiefs, something around that. And
It's too overwhelming.
And it was like, and I think it's great for fans, but NFL hates that. They don't want anybody competing with their product. And college football is stupid to go up against the NFL because the NFL is going to win every time.
Exactly. Corporate sponsors.
But speaking of the NFL, we'll move on to them.
Yeah.
Chiefs and Bills this weekend. I am fired.
Oh,
It's been a good playoff bracket.
It has been a
I feel
great
like it's been
playoff.
very
It's been
fun.
crazy. Talk about the Cinderella team and the
Commanders.
Yeah.
Patrick said sneaky team to the. You did say Commanders
did.
Chargers in the Super. I mean, obviously the
That
Chargers.
was hypothetical joking around. Chargers prove that that's not happening.
No.
But the Commanders, I might be able to fill out.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels has been awesome. We'll talk about that in a second. Chiefs and Bills again.
That's good versus
So
evil.
we're just gonna say.
Josh Allen, if you can hear me.
Does any
Josh Allen, if you could hear me.
does anyone think that the Bills are gonna win this game?
Dude.
I think they have a chance. I really
You
do.
know what? They have a chance.
I think they can win.
So
I
that
think
depends
they
who
can
you
win.
ask. If you ask a Ravens fan, they're gonna be like, yeah, because the refs love them. But if you ask anybody else, they'd be like, I don't know, man. The Kansas City refs, they're gonna strike. They might strike again, and then you got the whole conspiracy theorists who are like, "Oh, look at the Super Bowl colors!
I've been seeing
wow,
a lot
look at
of
this
that.
one."
I've been seeing
But
a
we're
lot
gonna
of
scratch all
social
that because
media.
we're not a bunch of nincompoops in this room. We're gonna actually talk about some real sports. I think that the Bills are gonna have to play the lights out.
They are.
Whoever wins this game right here is winning the Super Bowl. Sorry to the NFC.
Well, the Eagles are a little scary for me just because they run the ball so well.
They are a super team. I'm not gonna
The
lie.
Bills. This is their time.
They
like
have to
they
win
have
it.
to win this game. If like their window's closing, there's not even really a window because they're not super star studded. They just have the most talented quarterback in the league. Yes, I said it.
I agree.
The most talented
I agree
quarterback
with
in the
that.
league. He does exactly what he needs to do to win every game. The problem is they played perfect against the Ravens. No turnovers. I'm a little worried that that's going to come out this weekend. I'm pulling for the Bills. I'm not a Chiefs hater. I know everybody in the world is Chiefs hater. I respect greatness. I know there's some stupid calls. I get that. I still love to watch Patrick Mahomes play football. I'm never going to say that I mean, you're going to watch regardless. When Patrick Mahomes is on TV, you're going to turn it on. I love Josh Allen more, though. And I'm excited to watch the Bills. I have a Bills shirt that I will be sporting. And I hope they can pull it off. I think this is their best chance.
I think it would be good for if you want my personal opinion, I think that for the sake of America and viewer ratings, I think the Bills in the Super Bowl would actually be a lot better because it would give people
as long as it's
something
not
to-
Bills and Commanders.
No, that would suck. If we get a
See, now,
Bill,
I'd love to see that. I don't want to see the Eagles. That's the last team. I
See,
never
here's the
wanna
thing. We
see.
keep saying
Cowboys
that,
fan.
well, I don't know about the Commanders, but they just marched into Ford Field and just dominated the Lions.
But Detroit has a history of this. So let's not. I mean, the Eagles, they're pretty.
We'll get a good if they. Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know if Jayden Daniels can keep it up. Man, I
think
could see him win.
I could too. I just
see him
think
win.
the Lions just had too much going
Dude,
on. Ben Johnson
if they
was
win
already,
it all this year, go ahead and prepare for like a 5-12 season next year. They'll just go hit rock bottom, dude.
Yeah, I saw something the other day, and someone said, does Jayden Daniels have the best rookie season in the history of sports? All of sports.
No.
Why do we always go to that?
I don't think
Why
so.
do we always say
Clicks,
ever? Why do we
clicks,
always
clicks.
say ever?
People will type what? Man, you got reporters asking Patrick Mahomes, "Oh, do you think the refs favor you?" What is he supposed to say? He's gonna say no. If he said yes, he's just discredited all of his entire team, that entire organization, and the NFL. He's not gonna say that.
Yeah, well,
So I don't understand what
They
these
say
idiots
it
are
for
doing with
reasons exactly like this, so people can argue about it, and then people
True
listen
that.
to our podcast and they go click on the article to read it for themselves.
very
That's
true.
fair.
I would like to say one thing. CBS, you do a great job.
Oh, here we go
And
with the Glaze Fest.
I worked with CBS. Josh Allen wins that game. A hard-fought game against the third best team in the AFC. A war, an all-out war. The first question out of their mouths is, how do you prepare for the Chiefs? Shut up. Talk about what they just accomplished. Why we judge quarterbacks way too much on winning Super Bowls.
Well, yeah.
Josh Allen is a phenomenal quarterback. He has the chance to be one of the top 10 ever.
Lamar ain't no scrub, dude.
And he just beat Lamar, who is arguably, dare I say, the most talented quarterback I've ever watched. I mean,
could
he
say
can beat you in
athletically
some
gifted. We could say-
athletically, yes,
yes.
athletically is what I mean. And so the Bills are getting to the conference championship. It's just like playing the Patriots 10 years ago.
You just got to cut the head off. You have to cut the head off.
They're unbeatable at this time of year. They just are. Tom Brady was the same way. And I know but they still got to make it happen. They can't
still
go out
gotta
there and
do it.
get beat 24-0 and the refs help them. Like,
Got to
you know
beat
what I mean?
the adversity on the field. That's what my dad
So-
would always say when the
gotta-
refs sucked.
My dad loves to watch the Chiefs. He's the biggest Patrick Mahomes fan ever.
Oh, boy.
And he texted me the other day with his shirt on, and we were up in Chicago. I was flying back during the game, and he texted me. I said, "What about that last call?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's just Patrick Mahomes." I was like, "Whatever. I'm not arguing with you." But anyway, Eagles Commanders. We need to mention this.
Yeah, dude.
It's gonna be
Can
tough.
Jalen Hurts, if they get into a quarterback battle, the Commanders can win this game.
Absolutely.
But if they
It's
let
hard,
Saquon Barkley
though.
win this
dude,
game,
if
Hard
they
to beat a team
master
twice.
if
It
they
is.
Hard to beat
master
a team twice.
the RPO, they'll or no, sorry, yeah, the play action game. If they'll murder them.
I think it comes down to how Jalen Hurts plays. I mean, I'd say 2 of the 3 because the one loss against Washington, it was really just a shootout. But the 2 other losses that the Eagles have, Jalen Hurts did not look like he was comfortable at all. He didn't look like he could throw the football.
Might I
and he
add
struggled.
that when the
so
Commanders beat the Eagles, Jalen Hurts got hurt in the first quarter, and it was
That is
was
true.
like
That is true.
24 to 15,
Maybe-
14 when it happened.
maybe
So,
it was a shootout. If the Eagles start struggling, you might have to pull.
Here's what I'm
kidding.
challenging
Pull him
the
and put
Eagles
him
to
to
do.
Tanner
backup.
McKee.
Yeah. Here's
I
what I'm
forgot about
challenging
that,
the Eagles
yeah.
for. You've got to get that pass game going because you've got some really good wideouts in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Like, challenge those corners on the outside because when Jared Goff wasn't making stupid decisions in the backfield, Jameson Williams was running circles around them, and the Eagles have just as good, if not better, wide receivers.
I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried that this is going to be a beatdown. I'll say it. I know that
If
everybody's
the
on
Eagles are
Commanders,
playing to what their total capability is, yeah, this is going to be a landslide. It's not going to be funny at all.
which is fine because I can take a nap during this game and get ready for the 6:30 kick.
the 6:30 sweat fest. Whoo-wee.
I'm fired up.
It'll be interesting. It's
This is one of the coolest,
So
I
who
get
are we more excited for? What
championship
are we
game.
excited for? The actual game or listening to Tony Romo in the booth?
No, I'd rather listen to somebody like a nails on a chalkboard. Jackson, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do our picks right now.
Okay.
We've talked about it. All right, Avery, you start us off.
we going both
Both
games.
Both
Philly's
games.
favored by 6 in this.
Yeah,
This is
that's-
insane.
That is a bit of a crazy number. I'm gonna go Bills. I think this is gonna be the toughest game for the Chiefs, and I think the Bills know what has to be done to get this win. It's just Can they execute it? And can they outplay the Chiefs? That's a $1 million question. I'm going with the team I want to see win. I'm going Bills.
You going Bills and Commanders? Aren't you?
I gotta go. I cannot pick the Eagles. I don't really like either team, but honestly, I'm a Dan Quinn fan. What he did for the Cowboys, he did great. And then he went to the
Falcons
Commanders.
should not have fired Dan
And
Quinn.
Jerry
I also
Jones
agree
is
with
punching
that.
the air right
The
now.
Falcons should have never fired him. But
Man.
now look at him. He's come into another football team that was in. I mean, no one cared about the Commanders.
A win away from the Super Bowl.
and
Worst
now
facilities.
he's doing great.
With a
So
rookie.
go. I'm gonna take the Commanders as well.
He should have been in Dallas, taking over next.
Yes,
He
I also
should
agree
have.
with
He
that.
should.
He might still. You never know.
They ain't gonna
You
do
never
that.
know.
Nah,
All right,
I don't know
Justin,
that one.
you got
he's happy right now.
All right, I'm going Chiefs and Eagles. I know everybody hates that. That's fine.
That's like the worst scenario
The default
ever.
pick. The
yeah.
default pick.
I can't. I
I mean,
can't
I'm
pick
not
against my
no,
home.
You
I can't
can't
do it.
I mean, it's a business
get it.
decision. I
I
don't blame
get
you,
it.
but I'm just saying, like, out of all the combinations we get, that's the default pick.
Yeah, Javen, if he was in here, he would say the same thing. He would say, "I got to go with the Chiefs. I'm not going to pick against Patrick Mahomes." So I'm going to follow Javen's.
if you look at like the way they play. All right, Jackson, you're up.
So me and Josh Allen have had a pact. I've met him 3 years in a row during Masters Week, and every year I tell him, you got to come back next year with a Super Bowl ring. And he's never done it, so I'm going to keep rolling with
You're
the Chiefs.
just now telling us this that you've met, and you're just gonna be like, yeah. By the way, we've met him.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty normal.
You think you're funny?
Is this a joke?
Okay, hang on.
What?
Hang on,
These just
hang on.
dropping this information
This
on
man
us.
is waiting till conference championship week of 2025, and you're just gonna say I've met. I've
Do you have his
times.
phone number or
3
something?
times.
And talk to him.
First off, where did you meet him at 3 times?
So when I worked at Augusta Country Club, he came and played every year during Masters Week.
Okay.
So I don't have his phone number. I have his agent's phone number, so I can maybe pull some strings. But he's not gonna come on this show.
If he wins the Super Bowl, he might.
Well, I'll pull some strings. I'll do producer things.
Is it? I
Okay.
can't tell if this is like a bit or.
I can't
this okay. First off, Josh
This is
Allen.
crazy.
If you don't watch YouTube golf, he is a phenomenal golfer. First off, and I'm sure Jackson's seen him play in person. Now that I know this,
it's actually the caddy.
he is
He's his
phenomenal.
caddy.
This is. I'm sorry if we're a little bit confused.
Sidetracked,
I don't
but
know what
what?
happened. Just
We're all
happened.
in
He's dropped
shock.
it at
random.
Obama.
We're all in
us.
shock.
This is like the most random thing I've ever heard.
just met him 3 years in a row. We chop it up every year on the course.
Anyways, Jackson, what I guess what I'm trying to say is, where can I be to meet him this year?
Can he like send us a video of like something? Like, can we get an
I have
autograph?
a picture of him. He signed some things for me. So
Can you
I
get him to autograph some stuff to send into
Yes,
the...
I will get him to autograph the Sports Squad poster
That would be fire.
if I come
there you
across
go.
him this year.
Just
But
have his agent send a football in.
going back to the picks, I'm going to go with the Chiefs because every year
Nah, he's
I've
not
told
on the
Josh
show
Allen he's gonna
anymore.
Come back with a ring. He never does. We're kind of on this rocky stretch right now where we're not on the best of terms, and he's not doing what I say. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
This is
And
crazy.
then
Josh Allen, if you can hear me.
the Eagles, I don't like the Eagles just because they're the Georgia Bulldogs of the NFL. So I'm gonna go with the Commanders. I want to see the Commanders win. So give me Chiefs, Commanders. Commanders win in the Super Bowl.
Okay, so you guys just heard one of the most wild segments we've ever had, just as far as breaking news.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Jackson is now claiming that Josh Allen listens to what he says, or does not listen to what he says.
Breaking news.
Hopefully, Josh Allen. I'm
Using
pulling for
reverse
Josh Allen.
Reverse psychology out here.
Yeah. So maybe he can get him a Super Bowl ring because well, I guess you wouldn't see it this year at the Masters, but maybe next year because they
Dude,
wouldn't have the
It
rings by
would be
March.
the year for him. Newly engaged.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah, he is
it'd be
newly
good.
engaged, huh?
Get some-
He
get some
might add
rings.
2 rings
Two
to the
rings.
collection.
Hey.
Anyways,
Lock in,
Or
Josh.
that's the only ring he'll ever get.
apparently Jackson is famous. We did not know that. So
I'm a fraud.
anyways, we'll move on. Last
I didn't get my
segment.
pick.
Oh, well, you waited to the last second.
I was trying to be. You guys were all
Okay,
right there.
so we're a little.
I
I'm a
think
little
we know what
remiss.
Patrick's gonna
Let's hear it,
pick.
Patrick.
All right. I'm making a business decision here. I have to go with the Chiefs, unfortunately. It pains my soul. And then I'm going to root
Give
for
me that point.
Yeah.
If they win, man, give me that point.
And then I'm rooting for the Eagles just because of all the Georgia Bulldog fans. Sorry. But
You're rooting for the Eagles is a different thing than just saying you're rooting. Like, who's not rooting for the Commanders?
Yeah.
But you
true.
can pick the Eagles and root for the Commanders. Anyways,
I don't know. I just want to see my dogs playing the Super Bowl. I think it would be really cool too if we ended up getting a Chiefs-Eagles rematch and the Eagles finally get their get back
They're
from
not
a couple
gonna get
years.
the get
Nah,
back.
I won't either.
give me the Chiefs every
But
time.
if the football gods hear us, bless us with the Bills-Eagles Super Bowl.
That would be a great Super Bowl.
Be talented.
From one professional sport to another, here's our last segment. We're going to talk about the Braves a little bit.
My favorite.
Very, very quiet all season until yesterday about 6 o'clock. The Braves signed Jaxon Profar, switch hitter, left fielder, can play shortstop. I'm fired up.
I like it.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
I haven't been this fired up, and I know. You look at his stats. If anyone's listening, when you go look at his stats, you're going to see a 245 hitter. You're going to see 111 career homers. He's coming off his best year when he made a ton of swing changes.
Insane year for him.
Insane year. His best career year. He's made some swing changes. I believe he's a phenomenal player. Switch hitter. He's going to be able to hit in any part of the order. I believe he's going to be in the 8-hole, 7-hole for the Braves. If Ozzie keeps getting hurt, he's probably going to hit in the 2-hole. I'm fired up. We need one more starter. The Braves need one more starter. But
I'd take another relief pitcher too.
yeah, well, we need.
I'm still worried about
the
his
Braves need a lefty.
bullpen, dude. I haven't heard squat about his bullpen.
The bullpen's going to be okay.
I would say it was quiet in the terms of getting players, but it was very busy
It's
with
very
losing.
sad.
I had to
Yeah,
say
which
we lost
hurt.
Minter and Freed, so that's why I'm to the state
Nah,
of New York.
I'm not worried about Freed.
Yeah, well,
I'm not
I'll
worried
say
about
that I'm not
Freed.
worried about Minter for that amount of money either. He's
No,
gonna
he was
pitch
not
twice
worth
every
that.
3 days.
He was not worth that.
Yeah, I like Minter. I wish we could have signed him back. He probably would have took a team-friendly deal. The Braves didn't want to take that chance coming off a hip surgery at 32 years old. I don't hate that. I trust Alex. I know everybody's like, he's not doing it. He's
I
not
like
doing
him.
anything because he's smart. And I'll tell you why he's smart right here. The Braves'
Listen up.
entire lineup, $775 million. That means Sean Murphy, Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, Austin
You got
Riley,
stars.
Orlando
All
Arcia,
stars.
Jaxon Profar, Michael Harris, Ronald Acuna, and Marcell Ozuna. $775 million. The Mets signed Juan Soto for $765 million.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about
One
that
player.
area as well, the money, if we get a chance.
So
I've been
everybody feels like the
stat
Braves are falling behind. Everybody feels like that. They're not. They're not.
The
Juan
Braves are
Soto's
saving
not
their
gonna make a
cash
big-
for when they actually have to make a splash one day down the road.
Their splash is going to be next year when they sign Ronald Acuna to a lifetime contract, blank check.
I agree.
That's what they're saving their money for.
I think what people don't understand either, even the Braves fans, I love watching other people that don't like the Braves talk about this, how they're saying the Braves are cheating all of these players out of money and they're not paying what they're worth. But you listen to someone like Ronald Acuna, Ozzie, almost anyone on the Braves roster will tell you they are happy where they're at. Acuna took that deal because he wants to be a Brave. Ozzie took that deal because he wants to be a Brave. Every single player on this team wants to be a Brave. I think that's why they play so good even when they're not in their best shape, because they care. They have passion for this team, not just for baseball itself.
And Ronald Acuna, a lot of people don't know this because he's a superstar. The Rockies wouldn't even take a chance on Ronald when he was in Venezuela. The Braves signed him first. And in case you don't know anything about other countries, every other country in the world is all Braves fans because they used to be the only thing on TV down there because they didn't have any
TBS.
channels. TBS. So they're all Braves fans. Jaxon Profar this morning on a podcast or on a Zoom meeting said he's a Braves fan. He grew up a Braves fan. So that's just everywhere is Braves country for the most part. So that's why these guys like it. And
I mean, they
in case you didn't
They
know,
have first-class facilities.
They
Go
take
ahead.
chances. They just
I
got a
won't-
16-year-old as well.
yeah, I saw that. From
Dominican
Sudan.
Republic.
Yeah.
Oh, they had another one from Sudan.
He throws 102.
I saw that. Yeah,
That is crazy.
Stud.
But they take those. They're one of the teams that take chances like that.
on smaller deals, and it pays off. But I think they're saving their money to sign Ronald to a life, which he's the most talented Brave to ever don the uniform. I think I could say that. Chipper Jones said it. So, I mean, I
if
think
Chipper
I can repeat
says
that.
it, I think that's fair game.
Obviously, Hank Aaron's the most best ever.
In the modern era,
But-
he's probably top. I'd say top five in the league.
He's more talented than Hank Aaron. If he
Yes.
can stay healthy, he's going to put up insane numbers for the rest of his career. The stolen bags will go down. But anyways, I'm excited about him coming back. I hope he can come back not like 2 years ago when he came back and hit 15 homers. Hope he can come back in full swing. They need to wait until he's fully healthy.
I think
Same thing with Strider.
He's ready to come back, but I think they're going to be smart.
they're going
with
to take
him.
their time
They're gonna be
because they
smart
know
with
how
him.
good they are.
Let's give our predictions on the contract. How much is it going to be next year?
For Ronald,
What is he? I forgot
What
what
do
he
you
got
even
the
do in
last
a
time.
lifetime contract?
he's got it's not by next year. He's still got like 4 or 5 years left. But I think they're going to go ahead and do it. That way he doesn't even get close to testing the free agent
8
waters.
year, $100 million was his last
his
one.
next year is like 20.
He says in 2025, Acuna Jr. will earn a base salary of $17 million while carrying a total salary of $17 million. So I guess it ends.
No, it ends in like 27.
Yeah,
or
27.
28.
Yeah.
So I think the contract is going to be signed within the next year because I don't think they want him to get close to here in L.A. or here in New York's offers. I think it's going to look. I think they're going to give him the biggest contract in Braves history, which is right now Austin Riley, 10 years, $212 million. I think that they're going to offer him 2028, 10 years, $300 million, maybe with a maximum of $320. That's what I think the contract's going to look like. If Juan Soto's getting $765 million, Ronald should get $900 million.
27?
But-
So
We didn't get that type of money.
But the Braves don't. The Braves don't need to sign him for that kind of money. If he can stay healthy for another year and a half, they'll sign him for over $300 million, at least 10 years, maybe 12. That's my prediction.
But put yourself in his position where you're, like you just said, $300 million, and then you see guys like Juan Soto getting upwards of $700 million. Do you really take the 300, or do you kind of wait it out to see what everybody else is offering?
I think you're a perennial contender, and you can go Rod away in Queens and have one NLCS appearance every 15 years, or you can play for the Braves and have a shot to go to the NLCS every single year, have a shot to go to the World Series every single year.
I think he takes what the Braves give him. I don't think the Braves are going to give him a bad deal. I mean, him and Chipper are buddies. They talk, and when Chipper played for the Braves, he took a pay cut so he could be a Brave. I think Acuna will do that because this is the one team that took a chance on him, and he knows it. And I mean, anytime I've ever seen an interview with him and people talk to him about it, he loves the Braves. I think he takes the pay cut.
I think they'll do it. I like the 10 or 12. I think they're going to pay him $360.
I think it'd be 10 because he'd be close
by
to
the time 28 comes,
40.
that'll be around the 41 age when that contract will go up. So I could see 8 years. That's what Alex likes to cap it off at, is about 8
years, $360.
The only reason that Austin got 10 years is because he was like 25 when he signed it. So, but Chipper always says, you go out and let the big markets date you. You're not coming back. That's what happened with Freddie. He said, you start listening to him, you're not going to come back. That's why Chipper never even gave it a chance, because he knew he couldn't say no to the money. So the Braves are going to definitely try, and I think that's what they're saving their money for. They've already got everybody else locked up for a good
I'm excited
amount of time.
for the season. I'm excited.
I am too. I'm excited to see what they do with Albies too, because he's been hurt, but he loves Atlanta. Want to see if he takes a pay cut.
I think he retires a Brave as well.
He's only got 2 or 3
he
years
loves
left.
Atlanta.
Yeah, but I'm going to be honest.
He loves
and
Atlanta.
This is just me being real. I also see a world where he just... and the Braves move on somehow, some way.
I could see it too.
I see it like he is pretty injury prone. I see a world where he does take a hike, and they have to somehow fill in the.
I don't know.
the
I feel like he'd
second base
retire before because he
Curacao
loves
to
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
He'll retire
I
a
think he
Brave,
would
but I think it
retire
wouldn't surprise me if he
before.
took a hike and some other team took a chance on him.
Yeah. I think he'll retire Brave. I used to think Freddie would retire Brave. Like that's even when he left, I thought he would come back.
Yeah.
The more that this starts to prolong with Freddie out in LA, I don't see it happening. I see the
I like
Braves.
Olsen better.
Yeah.
I can't lie. He's better long term deal.
I
in my
like him
opinion.
fine. I don't like him better than I like Freddie Freeman.
I think in the long run, I think
It's just
Olsen
hard because
pays
Freddie.
off better.
We watched Freddie growing up, and he
Yeah,
went
that's
through the
what's so
minor league
hard
system.
about it.
He came through everything. So I mean, I don't know.
I have no love
think
loss.
I think
He
if
played
they
with
win
fire
another
and
World
got
Series
burned.
out there, I'm afraid he will retire a Dodger. But at the same time, I mean, this is the organization he grew up on, so we'll see.
We'll see. It's going to be an interesting rest of the offseason for the Braves. We're about 3 weeks out from pitchers and catchers reporting. So I'm excited about that. It happens around Valentine's Day. So go Braves. And
Dude, I
that's
need
all
to
we
get
got.
back in Truist Park, man. I need to go back over there and watch
Real
a
quick,
baseball
thoughts
game.
on how much money's being spent in MLB? That's like the new talk right now.
Stupid.
Thoughts?
It's ridiculous.
One Soto made $765
All right,
million.
if we're going to do
He's never had
that,
a
I'm going
40
to call
home run
out
season.
Cam Newton and just go ahead and tell him what a fraud he is for saying the WNBA is going to surpass the MLB
That was
because
dumb.
that was probably the dumbest
But-
thing I think I've ever heard on this face
But
of
have
the
y'all,
earth.
have y'all seen the current payrolls right now?
Yeah, they're insane.
It's insane.
369 million for LA.
It's all deferred to
288 for Philly.
98.
Yankees 284, New York Mets 297, and Toronto, which is weird, 218. Fun fact, that's before luxury tax.
I take the Braves over every team.
Mets
but
have the
LA.
highest luxury tax right now, because that makes them. So they've spent 297. Their total pay now is 294 with luxury tax. So they're paying around 20 million. Because I think they have the highest right now. I believe they have the longest streak because it compounds every year that you break the limit. It compounds.
And I'll say what's most impressive is I think the Braves are the second best team in the major leagues, healthy. They're 10 to $15 million under the luxury tax, which is absurd. That's what they're trying to do this year, stay under it.
A lot of people say LA's ruining baseball right now.
I don't.
I think it's just they just have money. I mean,
They're
it's
deferring
fair
it all
game,
to
but
2098.
it's a
My
bit of it's
grandkids
like a
are gonna see 'em
loophole.
get
It's a
paid.
loophole.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a loophole.
It's okay. LA's still not going to win the World Series this year. They did last year. Kudos to them. The Braves going to play for it. May win it. We'll see if they can stay healthy. But thank everyone for listening today. Big thanks to our panelists for joining the show. We will be back next week with another episode next Wednesday. The Sports Squad is a production of Bellringer Phoenix Media. Jasmin Garcia is the TVC Lab coordinator. Jaxon Garner is the producer. Dr. David Bulla is the coordinating producer. We are coming to you from the TVC Lab and University Hall on the Summerville campus of Augusta University. The opinions stated here are those of the individuals, not Augusta University. You can find us at aubellringer.com, on the Augusta Press website, on Spotify, and on social media. Please send your comments to bellringerproduction@gmail.com. Have a great day. And might I say, if you're still listening, there's going to be a clip in here where I went 11-0 in the playoff. I forgot to mention that. So, Jackson, you can cut this out and put it somewhere else. But anyway, this is Justin Gray saying so long. Back at you next week. We're out. Friday night, Notre Dame and Indiana in South Bend. You know, I'm going to just go ahead and preview a little bit. I think that Notre Dame may win the national championship or play for it. And I think that it starts with a beatdown of Indiana in round one. Penn State and SMU in Happy Valley. Give me Penn State. Clemson and Texas, which is the 4 o'clock game in Austin. But I'm going to pick Texas. Ohio State and Tennessee in the shoe. I'm going Ohio State here. The Peach Bowl. Arizona State will host the winner, or will play the winner of Texas Clemson. Going Texas in this one if it gets to that point, because Texas is the far better team, and Arizona State Cinderella. It's great and all, but it's over. Oregon and Ohio State for me, and then Oregon versus Tennessee for y'all. Y'all gonna call me crazy? That's fine. This game was a 1-point game in Oregon. Should have been won by Ohio State. I'm rolling with the Buckeyes all the way to the semis. Give me Ohio State. Next game is Notre Dame and Georgia. I think Notre Dame's physical. I'm gonna pick Notre Dame here. I'm going Buckeyes against Texas, and I'm going Notre Dame against Penn State. And then my national championship is Ohio State versus Notre Dame, and I'm going with Ohio State to win it all.